YouTube, it's Tone, and I'm back with another one for you. And so these are just some of the things that I do for fun. So look, so this is what I found when I typed in, because yesterday I did a magnetic North Pole, right? I kind of did a quick little decode. It was, it wasn't nothing too deep, simple surface level shit that anybody can put together. So today, and so but it had some of the elements of the information that I got had a lot of characteristics of the actual Earth, but Earth wasn't in the search. So I put it in today. I put Earth magnetic North Pole, and so Earth is in there. So we're making reference to the actual Earth. So you're gonna get more information based on what happens here at the Earth's magnetic North Pole. So you get information based on that. So when I typed it in, I got these results that I pieced together, that I pulled out of the matrix that it shows you whenever you type this in. You're gonna get a lot of fucking results. You got to be able to search the things that seem relevant to whatever the topic is that you're searching on. Then do further research into that and see if you can somehow piece it all together. Now, mind you, everything is pieced together because if you look at the matrix as a code, it's basically a link, like a chain link fence, right? So everything is ultimately connected in one way, shape, or form in order to create the green screen effect and create an image, right? You have to have all of the digits, the ones and zeros, all have to be in line. They're all really connected. At some point, you're gonna find the connection. Just because you can't see it at a surface level doesn't mean that it's not there, because it wouldn't be there if the numbers didn't correspond. So it always does. So you have to be able to piece this together to make it seem relevant for whatever topic that you're trying to break down and present. So this is what I got. I got magnetic North Pole with Earth, and then I got vortex-based mathematics. I got the smashing of particles, and then this is a French one, Electricité Grande Vitesse, right? So I typed that in. I did a little conversion of the language, and was able to get some interesting stuff. Then you got the building blocks of life. You got the nose behind the curtain. You got I am that I am organic matrix. Then you got the prince of this world. Then you got Jesus walking on water. Then at the bottom here you have the morning sun brings, what is it? Heat. The morning sun brings heat. And so that's what you got here at the bottom. And so I just think it's interesting how all of that just kind of fell into line here too, and it's right there on the first page. You don't have to go in there and calculate numbers, multiply, add, subtract. None of that really had to happen in order to get this done. So it was actually pretty easy. The hardest part was finding the images to correspond to the message that I'm trying to put out there for this. So let's get into this. This here, Vortex Mathematics, which was the first one that came down here. And so what you see here is, it's a screenshot of a video of Vortex Mathematics. 369 is representative of the spiral, or the vortex, if you will. And so this comes up as to what it is that's more than likely there at the North Pole. And it gets deeper, and I mean, you're gonna be able to see the bigger picture as we move forward. So 369, this is the North Pole. This is what it's gonna look like visibly, right? So it's gonna be a whirlpool, just like I figured it would have been, in the middle, and basically a vortex there. And so you know that it was talking about smashing particles and things like that, but we're going to get into that in a second. So this essentially here is the vortex-based mathematics. This is the visual representation of it. So then we'll go to, what is it? We'll go to another version here. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this. This is what is it? Tesla, right? You always see a picture of Tesla next to this thing, and so this is another version of a visualization of 369. And so here you have the vortex math is a system of numbers which explains the essence of form as a sphere with a vortex. And so the numbers reveal a spiral line and a curved plane. The numbers in the spiral line describe the form of a vortex. The vortex describes an inward contraction with equal expansion, which is the inner form of a torus. Right, so that's the torus field, which we all have to freaking agree on, is the plane that we live on. It's essentially going to be like a toroidal electromagnetic field, and that's what's going to be the planet Earth. And so this is another diagram showing the 369 at work here. So it says an inward contraction with equal expansion. So that's another version of the spiral there. It spins in and pushes out at the same time, so you get that effect. And there's a picture in here soon too in a second that you're gonna be able to see to make it easier to understand. So here in fluid dynamics, a vortex, plural vortexes, is a region in a fluid in which the flow revolves around an axis line, which may be straight or curved. Vortices form in stirred fluids and may be observed in smoke rings, whirlpools in the wake of a boat, and the wind surrounding a tropical cyclone, tornado, or dust devil. And so that would be like a little tornado or something like that where you can see like the whirlpool or the swirl. And so if you look at this picture here, you can actually see the whirlpool, right? And so this is going to be what 369 is represented as in life. You're going to see like a swirl. Whenever you pull the plug out of the bathtub, when you take a bath and you soak in that water and you pull that plug out and you get that whirlpool, this is what it's going to look like if you were able to get over to under the North Star. So the North Star basically is the projection of what's going on in the middle of the Earth. And so it's smashing of particles and things like that, right? So we get to that next. So the smashing of particles. Here is what's in the North Pole. So you get smashing of particles. So here you got the smashing of particles in particle collider. Particles are being accelerated to close to the speed of light. Particles gain enormous energy in both directions around the vacuum tunnels, and then they will smash each other at some point when they are forced to cross paths, to close contact. The process usually produced in a controlled environment, a man-made environment, right? And that's usually where you're going to see things like this, such as the Hadron Particle Collider that they have, I think, in Germany or something like that too. That's where you're going to see the particles colliding. So this is all part of the magnetic North Pole that's over here in the center of the Earth, center of the plane here. So then you get over to this. This is an image of what it would look like. And it just looks crazy. So you see how this here being in the middle of the Earth, 369, you got the vortex, you got the smashing of particles, you got the electricity, you got all of that mixing there, and then it's going to shoot out of the top and it's going to shoot out of the bottom. So as above, so below, right? You're gonna have that that light that represents what it is that's happening in there, the smashing of the particles. And so then when you look at the sky, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the North Star. That's what's going to be shooting up out of the middle of this process, the whirlpool that's at the middle of the Earth. And you're going to see the North Star being the center of the Earth. So I don't honestly believe that this is happening at our magnetic North Pole. I think this is happening at under Polaris, under the North Star. So that would be more south, I think, of us if you're here in the U.S. So then also, right, so what you have also is so when you look at the North, when you look up the North Star, what you're gonna see here, it says the North Star always points to the north, just like a landmark or sky marker. Let me move this thing. That helps in determining direction when facing the North Star, the east would be on your right, the west would be on your left, and the south at your back. At present, Polaris is regarded as our North Star and sometimes goes by the name Stellar Polaris. So that is true until you get past a certain distance, because ultimately you would have to go south in order to get to the North Star. Because I believe that our magnetic north is either a artificial magnetic north or one that comes from in a different way. I don't know because I've never been there, but I do think it's odd that when you go past the magnetic north over here, you will literally have to go south in order to get to the North Star. So that obviously tells you that there's a different magnetic north compared to the actual north of the Earth. So there's multiple poles, obviously. You see that. So then another picture of a hadron. What is this? This is like a version of like the Hadron Collider, or a particle detector actually detects tiny particles, apparently using something that looks like a toroid magnet with coils wrapped around it, and it actually looks a lot like an eyeball if you look at it here, right? And then so this is another version of that too. Is what is this? The world's newest atom smasher achieves its first turns. So you see how that looks an awful lot like an eyeball, a particle smasher, and this is what's happening at the North Pole, right? So I've never been there. I couldn't tell you exactly what it looks like over there, but I'd imagine it looks something similar to this, obviously with the water forming a whirlpool and smashing particles together. So then we go back to the number board under the smashing of particles. Then we have L'électricité grande vitesse, and this is French. This is actually French. So we go to the language translator and we type in this French word, because I didn't even know what it was, but I mean you can kind of see what it is. You know, it looks like electricity, grande in Spanish would be big, and then vitesse. I was like, what? So whenever you see a word with the V, know that it's a verb, so it's gonna be an action, right? So then you look at grande vitesse here. It says high speed. So these are all different examples of grande vitesse. So it says high speed, at top speed, very high speed, at higher speed. And then the different uses here in the different sentences. There's a sport boat driving license required for jet skis of, I don't know why they put that. Ion propulsion, high velocity. The body is moving at a high speed. And then here at the bottom you see there are two ships approaching at high warp. So this is talking about like warp speed electricity that's happening at the Earth's magnetic pole. So that's gonna be at Polaris, because that's the Earth's north. We have a different north according to the magnetism over here in this certain area of the plane, which is what a planet is. A planet is a small piece of a plane. It's literally in the word. So you figure that out however you have to, but that's going to be a fact. And then what do we got next? Then we got what? So we go back to the number board, and under that is the building blocks of life, right? So you go to the building blocks of life, and I see I type in what comprises an atom, and so what you see here, 505. So what you see here is introduction to structure of an atom. And so it says atoms are the building blocks of matter. Cathode ray experiment Electrons. Electrons are negatively charged subatomic particles of an atom. Thomas's model of an atom, according to Thomson, an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. So what are the three basic components of an atom? Protons, neutrons, electrons. So an atom is the smallest unit of ordinary matter that forms a chemical element. Every solid, liquid, gas, and plasma is comprised of neutral or ionized atoms. Atoms are extremely small. Those are the building blocks of life. That's what you're going to find at the North Pole. So, and it's not my personal opinion. This is what's coming up in the numbers. So this is all source code, right? These are all the source codes that are running behind the scenes the whole time that nobody knows until you calculate them. And so that's what you're going to want to do in order to get to the truth. You're going to want to calculate all these numbers. All right, so we go back to the number board, and what do we got? Under the building blocks of life, we have the nose behind the curtain. So I go to Google and I type in, or Bing. I go to Bing apparently because it's on my micro. That's the program that I'm running on my laptop. So it says the nose behind the curtain, a term likely originating from the stage theater. To look behind the curtain or behind the scenes means to gain an insight into how something works, operates beyond what is normally presented to outsiders. A popular example of its use would be Frank Morgan's portrayal of the Wizard of Oz in the 1939 movie of the same name. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. The man behind the fucking curtain, huh? Okay. So who's this man behind the curtain? Well, let's take a peek at the man behind the curtain. Is this the guy right here? Who the fuck is Toto? Is that you? Finding out who's really behind the curtain or what's really going on right now? Yo, look, this is all in the numbers too. I can't make this shit up. So it is what it is. But this is the man behind the curtain. That's the Wizard of Oz. He's at the North Pole. That's where Santa lives, right? Satan, Santa. That's an anagram of the same thing. So when you look at the last video about the magnetic North Pole, it talks about the house of Satan. Well, is that the house of Santa? Because Satan is an anagram of Santa. So they say Santa lives at the North Pole, right? You see how that goes? So we move on to, what is it? I am that I am organic matrix. So then we go over to okay. I had a problem changing that little screen there. So we go over to I am that I am organic matrix, right? I type it into Bing, this pops up. So you look over to the right, what is that? That's the identity matrix, right? That's a bunch of ones and zeros. It's binary code. That's what's running everything here. Everything is binary. It's digital. Even though you may think it's not, it is. Everything is coded. It's a bunch of ones and zeros. That's what it is. So you go down to the bottom. What is an identity matrix of order 1? In linear algebra, an identity matrix is a matrix of order nxn such as each main diagonal element is equal to 1 and the remaining elements of the matrix are equal to 0. 0 is the source too, mind you. What is the identity matrix of 2 by 2? So the identity matrix, ones and zeros, is that I am organic matrix. It's digital. And, you know, that might be hard to swallow, but what do you want me to tell you? So that's that. And then we go back to the numbers. What do we got? The prince of this world. So the prince of this world is there. So when I go to Bing and type that in, or was it Google? I think I went to Google and type that in. What is the prince of this world? And so this is what comes up. What are the princes of this world? The prince of this world is the leader of the princes of this world. Now we move on to the second line of evidence. And so it says, what does the Bible say about the prince of this world? Let's go to the Bible since everybody fucking likes the Bible so much. It says Satan is called a prince because he is a ruler and possesses power to manifest evil in the world through influencing people and commanding demons. The air in Ephesians 2:2 may refer to the invisible realm above the earth where Satan and his demons move and exist. This space, of course, is the location of the earth's atmosphere or air. Air is ether, right? So Satan is the prince. Santa's at the North Pole. Satan's at the North Pole. But they're really talking about air. They're talking about ether, the source. So ether is going to be the source. You really want to get into it. That's the prince of this world. That's the light. That's Lucifer. That's the light bearer. That's what's shining the North Star, right? It's all the same fucking thing. You just got to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's all. That's all it really is, man. And so, all right. So we established here that the prince of this world is ether, it's air. You know what I mean? Satan, Santa, North Pole, all that shit. It's the same thing. So let's go back to the numbers. What we see here is Jesus walking on water. This shit is all. This is all part of that. This is all part of the Earth's magnetic North Pole. This is what they're talking about. You see how these are all just parables. And I already did Jesus walking on water. So I already did a decode on Christ and who Jesus is. They're talking about the Son. They're talking about God's Son. And so, when you look at what is it? Here we go. All right, so when you look at you can't really think that it was this motherfucker walking on water that they were talking about, right? It's not. They're talking about God's Son. God's Son walks on water. They're talking about the literal Son. So you guys got to get off that thinking that the Bible is literal. That shit is certainly not literal. And so then you go back to the numbers and you see the last one was morning sun brings heat. This is what they're talking about. This is Jesus walking on water. This is the morning sun bringing heat. Okay? This is what they're talking about. So you guys just gotta, put the pieces of the puzzle together. It's not that complicated. It is complicated if you think you already know the answers. That's the thing. But when you look at the mathematics, everything adds up. So that's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.